Welcome to my kitchen. Today we have the chef partner of Soco Thornton Park, one of my favorite restaurants in downtown Orlando, Greg Ritchie. Welcome, Greg.
I'll do. Nice to be here.
Good. Tell us what's going on down at Soco these days.
Well, you know what? Things are getting better as far as business goes. We're still using our precautions over this way, and we're not at 100% capacity, even though that's technically allowable. But what we're really focused on now is trying to make sure that we're providing a great experience like we always have, and yet being safe and using all the precautions that we can do it at the same time. So that's kind of our mission at these days.
And you've always had that great outdoor space. So people who want to just stay outdoors, it's getting perfect right now.
The weather's getting better. It's the best time of the year to be outside. We've got one of the best patios or front porches in the city for sure. Right on the corner of Summerlin and Central. You can see all the action. Of course, that's great for brunch in the daytime or dinner at night. Awesome place to sit.
And you say this time of the year, I can see by your T-shirt that it's coming up to Halloween. Nice right. October dishes. So what have you got for us today?
Well, I love having fun with food, and Halloween and the fall is one of my favorite times to do that. So I thought it'd be fun to take some of the little bitty pumpkins. They call them wee little pumpkins, and they're just about as big as your fist. And I thought it'd be fun to make a little soup and use the pumpkin meat that's in it to make the soup, and then serve it back in it. That's such a fun thing that I like to do. Children love that. Everybody, grown-ups love that. And you can do it individual portions with the little pumpkins, but you can also do it with a bigger pumpkin and do it like family style and serve it like one big great terrine for the family.
It sounds good. Why don't you show us how it's done?
Absolutely. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, which I already did, you're just going to chop the top off of this little pumpkin. Chop the top off. You're going to scoop the seeds and then into the oven. Okay, so meanwhile, that's going to take 30, 45 minutes depending on the size of the pumpkin, but let's just say 40 to shoot it in the middle. But once it's going, set your timer, 350. Once the meat is tender, when it's soft and you can scoop it out, it's ready. All right, so do that ahead of time, or at least a little bit ahead of time before we start doing this next step. Next thing we're going to do now, we're going to get a small little sauce pot. I'm going to have a little bit of olive oil. And then we're going to just saute up gently a little bit of garlic, get it lightly golden brown. You can use butter if you want to. It's just starting to take on a tiny bit of color there, and now it's time for the onions. Now, once the onions come in, I like to lower the heat, and I'm going to start to do more of a sweat rather than a saute. I've got some celery diced up. And once that's happening, a little bit of carrots, small diced as well. Now, from this point on, it's easy sailing. The heat is low. The heat is low. It's very manageable at this point. Go ahead, and I like to season things as we go. So we're going to hit this with a little bit of salt and a little touch of white pepper. And also, now's the time to start going with some spices. I got a little bit of crushed red chili pepper, a little bit of cinnamon, as well as a little bit of allspice. Okay. So while this is savory, we're still throwing a little hint of the pumpkin spice, if you will, out there, because that's everybody's loving pumpkin spice these days, right? All right, so we're going to hit it with a white wine. It's pretty versatile, flexible. You can do a sweet white wine, you can do a dry white wine, or something right in the middle. All right, and so that's going to add a little bit of acidity to the situation there. We're going to reduce that down until it's almost dry. It's going to concentrate those flavors. And then next comes chicken stock. want to show you about this chicken stock. See how I can pick up this chicken stock and it sits there like jello?
Wow.
You know you're dealing with a proper chicken stock. So you cannot ever get that when you're buying something out of the grocery store. You know, whether it's in those, you know, soft packages, the quart containers or cans. You're not going to get that gelatin, which really translates to a richness and a full flavored, you know, product that you can only get from homemade. So anyway, our chicken stock's going to go in. Then it's going to come. It's going to come together. It's going to get just, you know, it's going to simmer. All the flavors going to come together. Once that happens and it's nice and ready, we're going to come back to our cooked pumpkin. And as you can see, this is what it's going to look inside because, of course, before we baked it, we scooped the seeds out. See, and one way you can tell that it's done is you can see how the flesh has started to kind of sink down and pull away from the sides. And then it's just a simple matter that you could really just pull this whole thing, and this is pretty cool. Look at that. It comes out in one fell swoop.
Beautiful.
And you're left with a perfect little serving bowl. That's why you like this kind, the little weedy littles, because they've got a perfect shell. I don't know if you can hear that. Just like that. So then you put that pumpkin right in there. Let it stew up and simmer up with the chicken stock. It all comes together. But, you know, if you're on the stove, you could probably be done in perhaps 10 minutes at this point. Now, one of the great things, this can be a soup. It can be a simple like appetizer. You can turn this into a whole meal, and that's depending on how much stuff you want to put in it. So if you wanted to go ahead and add like chicken and sausage, that's what I want to do. I got some house-made. We made some andouille sausage, which we make here at Soco. I'm going to saute up that, get it nice and browned up. Meanwhile, I'll like grill up a little bit of chicken breast or chicken thigh, dice it up and put it in there, and it's just going to add like turn it into a whole meal, basically, right? So, got a saute pan for that. Is our andouille sausage that we make. Yeah. And at this point, it's going to cook. We're going to wait a couple minutes, and we're going to circle back around. Okay, so now our soup is cooked. It's come together nice. All the ingredients have kind of incorporated and melded their flavors. So now I want to blend it. Now you don't have to blend it because you may have noticed we took our time to make a kind of a nice dice. If you want to leave them whole, perfectly acceptable. But I do like to blend it up because we're going to really get a little bit more of a luxurious texture as well as get those flavors even more all brought together. And then if you wanted more body in the soup, you could always saute some more or whatever on the side and then add it to it. But I think we're going to have enough considering the sausage and the chicken and the other goodies. So we've gone ahead and when we put our soup into a blender. I'm using a Vitamix blender here at the restaurant. If you don't have a blender, you can welcome to use a handheld at home. I might use an immersion blender. Again, it's super simple. So I went ahead and added a little bit of cream to this. That's just a personal preference. I just wanted a tiny bit creamy. I don't want it very creamy. I just wanted a tiny little bit of richness. You can omit that if you want to. So it's gonna be great either way. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this now. And that's how easy that is. Now, one of the things I want to do now, I got a little piece of grilled chicken here. I'm going to put the chicken diced up into the little pie shell. I call it a pie shell. It's a soup shell. Okay, we got the sausage. And I got these nice pumpkin seeds here. So that's how simple it is. And then when you serve it up, we'll put it on a little plate. You can leave the little lid beside it. It's just like that.
That looks great.
It's it's fun. It's simple. I mean, it doesn't even have to be Halloween. It can be, you know, pumpkins are great all the way through Thanksgiving, I think. And imagine if you had a Thanksgiving gathering and you had maybe a great big version of a pumpkin and you served something family style and you got it on your whole spread. That's pretty fun and different, I think. Kids certainly love this one. I would just recommend, if you're going to do this one, make sure that you haven't carved it into a jack-o'-lantern face, or you'll end up with a bit of mess on it.
Good advice. I would have done that. So
You can
I'm
draw
going to give this a try, and we'll see how it comes out. We'll get back together, and I'll show you how it turned out.
Have fun with it. Good luck.
Okay. So, Chef, there's my dish. There's my pumpkin.
That looks fantastic.
I even toasted my own pumpkin seeds.
Oh yeah, that's going to add a real nice crunch. That you know, that little textural component is real important, I think. Looks like you did a really great job cutting off the top and hollowing it out, and I bet it's going to taste delicious.
You know, you were right. It's easy and it's a lot of fun too. I think families are going to have a good time doing this together.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. It's such a great event. You can make it an event, you know, for the kids, for really anybody. You don't even have to be a kid, because I know I enjoyed it. You probably did. Yeah.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you taking some time to show us how to make this fun pumpkin soup.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be great for this weekend.
I hope you enjoy that. I hope anybody that's going to make it along with us is going to enjoy it as well. I'd love to hear feedback from anybody that does do it. And so have a great Halloween and a great weekend.
Great. And my thanks to Greg Ritchie at Soco Thornton Park. And my thanks to you for joining us in my kitchen. Goodbye.